you guys molded us into a family. That Bravo 2-1 was the only time in my whole entire career I ever felt where we were actually a family.
Marshall in the middle.
Today I'm talking with Chris Brewer. He was a soldier of mine back in the late 2000s. We deployed to Korea together. Actually, he got there after we had deployed over there and became part of our team. He tells a story, and we have a great time. So I hope you enjoy. We're talking with Sergeant Chris Brewer. My neighbor is chainsawing. They're cutting. There you are.
There we go.
And look at you. You got your shirt on. I love it. I love it. Yeah, thank you. That's so cool, man.
And welcome to my man cave.
Yeah. So I got me a beer, and I've driven down the street. I'm in the parking lot of our local chapel, and just chilling out and relaxing with my old buddy. You're looking well.
I've lost quite a bit of weight.
Well, that's an interesting endeavor. If that's something you're trying to do, it's not that much fun if it's a medical problem. What's going on?
Oh no, ever since I got out of the Army, life's been different. I lost after Korea, I lost about 50 pounds, and I just managed to keep it off, and I keep dropping and dropping.
Well, good. Well, congratulations. What are you doing to drop weight?
Oh, just work. That's all I do. I walk like 20 to 30,000 steps a day at work.
Oh, wow. That's sounds like you're moving.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of walking at work.
Okay, cool. So tell me, Chris, about young Chris and how you came to join the Army, and tell me that story if you don't mind.
Honest to God, I was working at a local tire shop, and one day someone just happened to say something to me, and I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm gonna go join the Army and get revenge for my friend that was killed in Iraq. And that's what brought me about joining the Army.
Tell me more.
Okay. So most of us that were ever in the military are creatures of habit. We do the same thing every single day. Our wallet goes in the same spot, our keys go in the same spot, normal stuff. And I just happened to be walking in from home, and the way that the house was set up, my room was at the back of the house, and like the hallway was here, and the TV was at the hallway, and I would always put my stuff on the coffee table. And this is when I was living with my grandma and grandpa. And I walked in, and right when I set my keys and my wallet down in the little like tray they had in the center of the coffee table, I heard "local hero killed in Iraq," and I didn't have to turn around and knew who it was at that point in time. And I was like, I let it stew on me for a while. And then 3 years later, I was like, you know what? I'm going to join the military. I'm going to go fight. I'm going to get revenge for what happened. And now my son is after him.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, congratulations for reaching your goal, right? You served. Tell me about, how it came that you joined the Army and basic training and different AIT and, all that stuff. Tell me about that.
Well, in all honesty, I thought basic training was a joke. I was like, well, minus the whole getting yelled at thing. I was like, I see people complaining and crying like, oh, this is so hard. I'm like, apparently you've never been to a sports camp before. Was like the main thing. And the same with AIT, because I went to AIT at Fort Bliss, and they were very lenient on us. There was I think 1,000 of us, give or take, at the time, and they were just like, all right, if you're past this week, go do your thing. And I would just nonchalantly just walk off and do my thing, and then graduated AIT. I mean, I thought the whole entire initial training, like IET, initial entry training, was a joke, for me at least. But for other people, it might be a little harder, but I thought it was super easy.
I agree in a lot of ways with that you're saying that it was easy at the level of skill that it took to meet the minimum requirements and not get yelled at on a daily basis. It didn't take that much effort. And that was probably the goal you're talking about, because I sure tried to meet that goal every day of just not getting yelled at and just leave me alone so I can do my thing.
Yeah, I would stay quiet. No one knew my name. Just go here, go here, go here. Done with the end of the day.
Yeah, that's the brewer that I remember in my unit that did his job and kept his mouth shut and got along with everybody and was good at his job, but wasn't looking for the limelight, wasn't wanting to be a showboat, or didn't matter to the brewer that I knew.
And I'm still the exact same way today.
Yeah. So tell me about tell me about shooting your weapon. Are you good with guns?
Very, very good. Yes, I was very good at. Well, I still am very good at shooting a rifle, but out of all probably 30 to 40 times I qualified, I only missed expert once, and I missed by one shot.
Oh, wow. And you came in the Army at a time when we had computerized ranges and stuff. It was hard to cheat,
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's good shooting, because it's tough, man. Being that kind of a shot it ain't no joke to qualify. I don't know if people realize how much cheating went on in the Army about their qualification badges, at least in the time when I was in. But at one point in your career, to go out on a computerized range and to do really what you're supposed to do, it could embarrass you if you're not prepared for it. You could fail easily. And so to hear you say what's such good things about shooting, that's pretty cool. What else are you good at, man?
I'm good at a lot of stuff. I'm good at fixing vehicles. Obviously, what we did in the Army Air Defense, I was good at that. Well, I was a top-notch recruiter. Out of 11,000 recruiters, I was in the top 400. So I mean, there's so much at and thankfully it was all due to the Army that it all prepped me for life after the Army.
That's awesome. So what do you think the Army, some of the key points you learned from the Army were?
Oof. Well, there's quite a few of them. A lot were, ironically, Bravo 2188 was probably what instilled the most in me. But there, because after Bravo 21, the rest of the Army felt like ate up. And let's see, you. When I first met you, First Sergeant, I was like, God, this guy is such a dick. Why is he so mean? But then after a while, it just grew on me that you looked at us like you would look at one of your children. And you essentially beat into us, be on time, be in the right uniform, and you'll be successful. So that's what I emulated for the rest of my career, was to be on time and be in the right uniform, and you will be successful. And then you had Sergeant Keel, who would tell us, if you aren't going to give me 100%, don't even bother showing up, because at that point you're wasting my time. And and then there was more stuff like Sergeant Holden. You remember her?
Oh yeah.
She was like the mother figure. She would take care of us, but at the end of the day, we knew that if we messed up, she was also going to whoop us for it too. So it was my first year of the Army was being in Bravo 2-1, which I met you guys in Korea. I didn't go there from 552. And I had to realize, like, oh, this is supposed to be the best Patriot battery and the best Patriot battalion in the Army. And they're going to hold us to that higher standard. And then after all that, I was like, I would just look around like, this is nothing. I don't know why these people are complaining.
That's great, man. That's great. So so tell me about how you ended up coming on board. What was your MOS and how did you make that transition onto the team in Korea? Remind me about that.
I was a Tango, and I was fresh out of AIT private, and there was, out of my graduating class, there was 3 of us that got sent to Korea, and we all got assigned to 2-1. It was me, I don't know if you remember Gonzalez, and then Chester Hicks. And so we both got or myself and Gonzalez got assigned to Bravo 2-1, and then Hicks got assigned to Delta 2-1. So I don't know if you remember Gonzalez though.
I do. Absolutely. Yeah, I remember Gonzalez. Absolutely.
So, and that was it. And I'll never forget it was like 11:30 at night. We pull in on the bus, and I step off the bus, and I'm like, all right, so this is Korea. All right, new experience for me. And some older guy with gray hair, I can't remember his name, started talking to me, and I started talking to him thinking, oh, this is a civilian, because he's not addressing me or anything like that. And he starts yelling at me because he's like, oh, you don't know your battalion sergeant major? And I was like, I just got here. Like, I have no idea about anybody. And then he calmed down a little bit. He's like, well, I can't remember his name, but he's like, I'm Sergeant Major so-and-so. I'm the battalion sergeant major for 2-1. I was like, nice to meet you, Sergeant Major.
You're talking about Command Sergeant Major Eimer.
Oh, no, this is before Sergeant Major Eimer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was a tall, skinny white guy.
Tall, skinny white guy. Telly, bald head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's Command Sergeant Major Telly. Yeah.
Just like, and then the next day, I don't know if you remember it. I was standing in the orderly room to end process into the battery, and he walked in and reamed me again for not saying at ease. And then I looked at him. I was like, Sergeant Major, there's a lieutenant in the room. Why would I say at ease? Just fresh out of AIT, you know.
Right.
Or I got my ass chewed by him again.
That's great.
I was like, all right, so you call it ease and attention for the level of people that are in the room.
Oh, wow. So that's an interesting thing that you got caught up in that game. I'm so sorry to hear that was like one of your first introductions to the new unit and everything in the real Army. So, wow. Yeah, sorry about that.
Hey, it just changes you for the better. That's all it is.
Oh, wow. But yeah, you realize all of a sudden there is a kind of a double standard, and it is the way it is, and they don't tell you that necessarily in basic training, but it is, I don't care if the general's in the room. Sometimes when the sergeant major comes in, you say at ease, kind of, it's kind of weird.
Yep, that is exactly what I had to learn really quick.
Oh, wow, that's great. So the thing that I love about that is that you're very attentive to the rules. You understand everything, and the thing that's sad about it is how quickly you got caught up in the little challenges of what's trained into you, and then what reality is.
Yeah, my first 2 days, I learned a lot.
Oh, wow! Tell me other lessons you learned about life. Tell me more. I love hearing your stories.
Oh, let's see. Oh man, I have a lot of them. When I was working in Crystal City, Virginia. Well, technically, I was tasked to the Pentagon. I learned that officers think they have a lot more power than they actually do. Because in that aspect, like up in the Pentagon, and this is what made me not scared of officers whatsoever. When I was there, if you weren't wearing either a bird or star on your chest, you didn't matter. So like one of the days I was working there, I had a lieutenant colonel who tried to tell me to go get him a cup of coffee. And the Fulberg colonel that I worked for heard that and put him in check. It's like, no, you go get me a cup of coffee. He was like, he's a non-commissioned officer. He has a job. Go.
Isn't that great to get a backup from your, your boss sometimes? That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Well, I know I can mention the name who I worked for, and you probably remember it very, very vividly.
I got you. So tell me about, family life. And I saw a picture with a little boy in the picture. Looks a lot like you. Tell me about all that.
That's my son. His name is Kane. He's a year and a half old. He's 3 feet tall already. Weighs almost 40 pounds. Wearing size 5T clothing. Definitely didn't get that height from me. Family life's great. I love it. I never had a family when I was, well, let me rephrase that. I had a family when I was in the Army, but it was different. Now I have an actual family. But I love it. It's great. Wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
You're, this is made with the idea partly of First Sergeant Maggot, who was the first sergeant of Bravo before me. Actually, he was 2 before me, and then recently Sergeant Mason. I found out Sergeant Mason was sick, and he has passed away. He had throat cancer, and I had all those pictures of us and our time and our training up together. And I was just sad that we hadn't taken the opportunity to tell those stories, And so this is what this is about, telling some stories, because, believe it or not, your grandkids and your great grandkids are going to want to know about, what you did and your exploits, and they want to honor you as a hero. And you're definitely a hero of mine. Tell me, weren't you proud of what we did as a unit? We did some good things, right? You were a part of that, right?
Oh yeah, we did a lot of great things. We were and I will say this hands down, 100%. We were the best Patriot battery that the Army had ever seen, and probably still has ever seen to this day. We knew that no matter what, everyone in that unit, we had it, even though we all bickered and fought and everything, but we knew at the end of the day, everyone had each other's back minus Bib.
No. Bib had our back. Bib had our back. He just made us all mad doing it.
I remember, I can't remember what it was called. It was like, was it Love Bib Day or something like that?
I had to do an I Love Bib program to keep from some of us from throwing, and me included now. He drove me nuts, dude. I love him, and I can't wait to talk to him. I'm going to do one of these with him. But yeah, dude, so there was a letter that he wrote, and there were people that were seriously saying, if he says one more word to me, I will help him jump off the 3rd floor, 4th floor, like he was threatening to do. And it was just crazy times, right? We're piled into a friggin' like a sardine can together. You can't get out, and there's nowhere to go, and it's really wild. And we did a good job of surviving, right?
Oh no, it was great. I absolutely loved it. But I'll never forget when I was walking up the stairs and Coates was in front of me, and all I hear is Sergeant Keel yelling, "Go ahead and do it, Bib. Just jump. Get it over with." And I was like, oh God, what did I get myself into? But then like a month later, I was like, I wish he would have jumped.
Oh no. I'm telling you, man, it's sad times, right? To think about it back in those things, but we all had those same feelings, right? Look, I got him together. We got us all together, and we had to do something about it, and we did, and it got better over time, and we survived without killing each other, but it was crazy times, brother.
Oh, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. God, I miss it so much. How much fun we had over there. Like
Whenever you have a
what was that for something?
whenever you have a common mission and you can't go anywhere over time, you find a way to have a good time, and we really did.
Yeah, the barbecues that we would have, and just the shenanigans that we would pull on each other. And there was always looking for where's Frankwitz sleeping at right now. And then it was just great. There's so many memories. Like I could talk for days upon days of how much fun and shenanigans and good memories. And I could talk about a few bad memories, but it would only be a couple of them.
So tell me a good memory. Tell me something. Do you remember a convoy or a time in Gwangju, or maybe something when you were downrange in Kumsan, or anything like that?
Oh, man, there's a lot of them. I remember the time when North Korea fired a missile into the ocean towards Japan.
Yeah.
And they I want to say the word mobilized, but I don't know if that's the proper verbiage for it. And it was like 2:00 in the morning on a Saturday. And we all had to go down to the motor pool with our A and B bags and all that, get ready to go. And Franco, I was the driver, Franco was the TC. And I just looked at him, I was like, Frankie, I was like, you got to drive, dude. I have no condition to drive whatsoever. That was probably my funniest memory of that, because we sat there till 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. They're like, all right, go ahead and go back to the barracks. You're good. And I was like, really?
Oh, wow. I don't remember that particular time, but there's so many millions of different times when you get called out and you go and you're ready to jump or ready to drive away or anything like that.
And see, that could have been the first or the second trip, because
that's right. You went 2 trips. You did 2 trips.
Yeah, and it was like back to back. So I don't know if it was the first trip or the second trip. And then
We got you.
another good memory is just Sanchez, him just running around fixing stuff while we were up on the helipad training, and we didn't just running around just doing his thing. But I don't have like a lot of like vivid memories of the training, because we just did it so often that it all became like a fluid movement. Like, okay, we're gonna train on reload all day today, go do it. Or we're gonna train on march order and emplacement, go do it.
So tell me something. Tell me about a soldier you trained.
That's a very. Does it have to be a regular soldier? It could have been a future soldier that when I was in.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
I'll never forget him. His name was Dylan Ditto. Good kid, very, very smart. Scored, I believe, a 98 on the ASVAB. And all he wanted to do was MI. And I was like, all right, well, I'll try to arrange it for you. And sure enough, got him MI. So I just trained him up and got him ready for basic training, because kid was really skinny, really scrawny, had nothing to him. And now he's stationed, I believe, at Schofield Barracks in Hawaii. I
So
try to
when,
keep track of all the kids that I put in the army.
oh,
Still to
that's
the,
awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So tell me more about your recruiting time.
well, that was a unique experience. Of all things, I was at the schoolhouse at um, Fort Jackson, and we had just gotten our pinpoint orders. So there's identifiers. So there's an identifier for the battalion, for the company, and then the station. So there's three different identifiers. So like four, those say like 4 Echo will be the battalion, and then 1 will be the company, and then we'll say Romeo. So I think mine was 4 Echo 1 Romeo for my identifier for my station. And so I got the paperwork, and we were getting ready to graduate. So we're out of the smoke pit and talking. We're all excited, and we're done with recruiting school, which was a nightmare of itself. Of the 7 weeks that I was there, and we're sort of how they're smoking, and I'll never forget her. Staff Sergeant Susie Ellison walks up to me. She's like, "Hey, Sergeant Brewer, where are you going?" I was like, "I don't know, some little place called Orange Park, Florida." She's like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "That's the station that I'm in. I'm a station commander. I'm here in station commander school." I was like, "Okay, cool. Tell me a little about it." She's like, "You're replacing Sergeant Wright. He had sex with a high school student." I was like, "Okay." And she's like, "You're taking over his high school." I was like, "Good to know."
Oh
I'm on
boy.
the bus before I even got there, but okay. And I went in, busted my ass. And what was the saving grace for like me getting into the high school? I'll never forget it. Mr. Lewis and Mr. McCabe, Mr. Lewis was the assistant principal, and Mr. McCabe was the principal. I just happened to walk in and saw that there was a golden NFL football, and I just looked down at it, and I was like, okay, so someone that went to this school has won a Super Bowl. And I looked over at the secretary, and I was like, "Who won a Super Bowl here?" And she's like, "Oh, Cliff Averill with the Seahawks." And I was like, "There's my in. I'm a diehard Seahawks fan. I already got it." As you can see from the blue and green behind me in the man cave. And I just went and talked to Mr. McCabe for like 3 or 4 hours. And he was like, "You know what, Sergeant Brewer, I'll let you do your thing. Be a recruiter. It's no big deal. We'll put everything in the past. Just do your thing." And that was my whole entire goal, because I told him, these are kids to me. You don't have to worry about nothing. And I ran the school for 2 years.
That's awesome. Congratulations. So I take it you enjoyed it. You said that you enjoyed your recruiting time, right?
Absolutely loved it. It was the easiest job I've ever had in my entire life.
So what was the trick to your success, do you think? What
Oh, as a recruiter,
yeah.
be honest. That's all it was. Just be honest. I would tell kids, there's going to be shitty days, there's going to be good days. Just, if you suck it up, and then I would tell them, be on time, be in the right uniform, and do what you're told, when you're told, how you're told to do it, and don't talk back. You'll be successful in the military.
Amen to that.
So, but that was the trick. I got a phone call from my station commander on October 1st of 2016, after I got out, and I was like, I think I left on terminal leave March. And he called me. He's like, "Hey, man, I just want to let you know you were still number 2 recruiter in the office, and you've been gone for 6 months."
Oh wow.
So, but you just be honest with people. Don't lie to them about anything, and you'll be successful in life in general.
Oh yeah. I agree. So hey, like you've gotten out of the military. Did you retire? Did you decide to get out before retirement? What? Tell me about that.
Oh no, I would still be in first sergeant, but remember when we were training and I hurt my back and had to go to sick call for it?
Yeah, I remember.
That eventually caught up with me and bit me in the ass, and I got med boarded for it.
Oh no. Remind me about how you got injured and everything.
We were doing a reload with a forklift, and I tried pushing the missile by myself, like to seat it on the little teeth that were on the top of the other missile, and I did something to my back. I don't know what it was, but I got down off the launcher. I was like, something's wrong. I need to go, and I went up to sick call, or not sick call, but I went up to the aid station we had there on Camp Carroll, and they put me on light duty, and then eight years later, I finally went and got seen by a doctor for it, and they're like, "Oh, your back's really messed up." Bye.
Oh
So,
wow. Oh wow. Well, thanks for your service, and I'm sure hopefully you get you got adequate compensation and stuff as you got out. I assume that happened. Is that okay? Is that a good case? Are you in good standing? Are you and the government happy with each other?
so far so good. Yeah.
Well, good, good. I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear that.
I mean, I'm still fighting for that magical percentage, but I'm almost there.
That's cool. That's cool. So tell me what you're a fan of. I see the Seahawks. You already mentioned that. What other things are you a fan of?
Well, obviously, I like shooting guns. I love what I do, um, and then I just enjoy coming home, sitting down, chilling with my family. I like to drink some beer, watch a little bit of TV. I love working on cars, obviously, and then I'm just a very basic person nowadays. I just come home, hang out with my wife and my son, and then call it a day, go to bed, rinse and repeat.
So, you've given some really great advice up until now, and I appreciate you sharing a moment with me. I'll tell you that you're a hero of mine, and you showed me that every day as you got up and you were there for PT and you were being a part of the team and becoming a leader in the unit throughout the time. And I'm just really proud of you, man. I'm really proud of who you've turned out to be and what kinds of things you're doing in your life. And thanks for your service, buddy. Thanks so much.
Well, first, thank you too for your service, but I can 100% reflect and say if it wasn't for you, Sergeant Keel, Sergeant Epperson, Sergeant Phillips, Sergeant Holden, Sergeant Lacero, and Sergeant Bainey, there's so many great non-commissioned officers that we had that trained and molded us into what we are nowadays. It probably wouldn't have happened. There was like, do you remember Sanchez?
Yeah, tell me more. Yeah.
Sanchez is my son's godfather. I still talk to him on a regular basis. Love the man to death. He's my brother. I love him. I would die for him in a heartbeat if I needed to. So, but you guys molded that, the Army mentality, one team, one fight. But you and Captain Ruth and all the NCOs and officers that we had, like Lieutenant Omasta and Lieutenant Holguin, all them, like you guys molded us into a family. That Bravo 2-1 was the only time in my whole entire career I ever felt where we were actually a family. Even though you guys were hard on us, we knew that we were at the end of the day a family.
It was good times, that's for sure. It was good times. Hey, so one of these days I'm hoping that we can use this footage as part of your memorial service and as something that your family and loved ones can look back on and be proud of what their son or nephew or uncle or brother or sister has done. I was wondering if you would do me a favor and maybe you could kind of stand up and salute and report for me and tell me your name and rank in your hometown. And then, just like you salute and drop your salute or however you do it. And then I want to call us to attention. I want us to say lock, cock, ready to rock. Right? Remember how we used to do that?
Roger, from the always say reporting as directed or reporting as ordered?
Oh, I don't care. I don't care. You say whatever you want to say.
No, first Sergeant, how it was. If it's a non-commissioned officer, you say reporting as directed. If it was an officer, reporting as ordered.
That's
So,
right. Yeah, yeah. Look at you. Yeah. And
so
then
what would you like me to?
also I want you to sign out. Also want you to sign out.
Okay, which would you like me to say first, Sergeant? Because I'm gonna do whatever you tell me still to this day. So,
Oh my gosh, yeah. So just tell me Chris Brewer reports from so and so and so and so, wherever you're from. That's what I want to hear.
okay. All right, give me 1 second. I'm sorry, I'm a little old and frail now.
Oh, look at you, look at you. Oh, look at you, man. You're looking good. Looking good. Go ahead, man.
All right. Sergeant Brewer report is directed First Sergeant from Vancouver, Washington.
Battery, attention.
Lock,
Lock,
cock,
cock,
rock, First
ready to
Sergeant.
rock. I love it, man. I love it, man. All right, go ahead and sign out for me.
How do you want me to do that, First Sergeant?
However you want.
All right, First Sergeant, it's been a pleasure talking to you after all these years. Still to this day, I look up to you more than you would ever imagine. And I still love all you guys. And this is Sergeant Brewer signing out.
Love you, brother.
All right, First
Give me
Sergeant.
one more salute. Give me one more salute. Give me one more salute. Say signing out.
Signing out, First Sergeant.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Yeah, yeah. I didn't want to necessarily sign out right now, but I just wanted to get that as formality, Those salutes and stuff, man. I want to use them in the video that I get for you, right? So one of these days, so I'm gonna get you I got a coin. You've already got the shirt, and then we're gonna put it in a box, a nice wooden box, and a
Okay.
coin, and then the thumb drive. And all the video and the pictures, we'll do a little slideshow so that by golly, one day, we won't be like, I wish I'd have talked to Sergeant Mason. At least one day somebody will have said, hey, yeah, somebody did talk to Chris Brewer, and we do have a story of him and his military service, and that your kids and grandkids can be proud of that, right?
Roger, First Sergeant. And that was actually, believe it or not, as sad as it was, that was actually a very good day.
Tell me about that. Tell me about attending Sergeant Mason's funeral and memorial service and helping with that. Thank you. You and Frank Witt and Holmes helped with that, right?
Yeah, but it was. I wanted to take as much stress as I could off of Claudia's shoulders because obviously she was putting her husband in the ground. So I went about getting all the flags, and I can't remember the name of the box where you put the rifle in it and the boots on it, the dog tags on the rifle. And I was just, for 3 days, I was just all over Fort Bliss. I went to every air defense battalion. I went to the division headquarters, the MP headquarters, everywhere. And thankfully, because of what I did in 552, I was able to talk myself into deep enough into the division headquarters to get the flags that I needed. And I was able to talk myself into protocol. That's where all the flags are stored for ceremonies. And then I went to the MP battalion, and I met a sergeant first class. She was a very sweet lady, and she could tell it was really like eating at me that he had died. Like Mason and I weren't super close or anything, but it bothered me enough to where like she could tell that something was wrong. And she's like, come back in 2 days. She's like, I'll have it for you. Don't worry. So I came back 2 days later, and she's like, I walked in and I saw her, and she's like, hey, this is for you. Give it to Sergeant Mason's wife and tell her it's a gift from us. So she had her MPs, her soldiers, make the box from scratch just for Mason's funeral. So I made sure everything was presented properly. I was able to get a rifle, dog tags, everything, just so it was. Holmes, Frank Witt, and myself, we tried to make sure that it was perfect, and we hopefully did a good enough job for her.
Well, from everything that I saw and the reports that I got from the family, you did a great job, and you did your brother and sister well. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much for standing in the gap during that time, because I sure wanted to be there, and situations with COVID and travel and everything is just a mess. But you were there standing in the gap, and I sure do appreciate it.
Well, one team, one fight at the end of the day. We're still a family regardless. Even 30 years from now, I'll do whatever I have to do to make sure one of my brothers or sisters is taken care of.
You know, it's interesting that uh, at least our unit, in a way, many of us have been able to keep in touch in a way through social media, and that's been good. We came about in the age of MySpace and then Facebook and everything, and so that's been a good thing for us. I'm glad of that.
Yeah, like, and it's crazy how small the world actually is, because I would just happen to be walking through the VA and I heard a voice and I was like, I stopped and turned, like, is that Josie? And I turn around and sure enough, there's Josie standing right there. Like,
Oh
and I,
wow.
Josie, come here. And I gave her a big old hug and she's like, I'm getting married and all this crazy stuff. And I like seeing their kids grow and everything. It's crazy how we're so distant yet we're so close at the same time.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
Yeah,
So,
because I still text Keel and ask.
yeah, so
So
that's good. Well, I sure do appreciate you taking the opportunity to talk with me and tell some stories. There's something you wanted to talk about that you hadn't had a chance to talk about, or a story you want to tell?
oh oh no, there's oh man, there's so many good stories of from 2-1 that I want to talk about, but I think those should be enshrined with us from 2-1. Those they should stay with us for the rest of our lives, and we shouldn't tell them to anybody else, because to them they wouldn't make any sense, but to us they make perfect sense.
I hear you, brother. I hear you, brother. Well, hey, Chris Brewer, it's been an honor. Thank you. You're a hero. I know you're a great teammate in the past. You're a great teammate now, and I look forward to you being on the team in the future. And lock, cock, ready to rock. Thank you very much, man.
Well, thank you very much for sitting down and talking to me first, Sergeant. To the end of days, I will have your back 100%.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right, I salute you, my hero.
All right, First Sergeant. I love you, man.
Love you too, man. Good night.
All right, good night.